So we are going to read on Ashley Loring, Heavyrunner. Ashley Loring, Heavyrunner. She was 20 years old, disappeared from around the Blackfeet Nation Reservation to Montana. And what I know about this case, I haven't read extensively on it, but I did watch a video, I believe that was on ABC News, that said she had gotten into drugs, unfortunately, was hanging around with some older men that really she shouldn't have been. She's 20 years old, can do what she wants. And I believe they were supplying her with drugs, and then she came up missing. We know she was with one of those men that night that she disappeared because he readily admits she was, and that she'd been with him, I believe, for 6 days at his house partying before that. Then his story is, this is Sam McDonald, that he took her and she wanted to go off with some other guy, and he parked with her at this designated meeting spot, waiting for the other guy to come. Well, as Sam was driving her there, fell asleep, and when he woke up, he says she was gone. This Paul guy, of course, says he has nothing to do with it, which is the guy who was supposed to pick her up. Some people believe Paul's wife may have had something to do with it because he was married at the time and he was still seeing this Ashley girl. So there's that element of it too, of was this like some love triangle gone wrong thing. But let's ask, first of all, let's just do our foul play, and see, left on our own. Let's ask for a card for foul play if this had anything to do with foul play. All right, foul play in the case of Ashley Loring, Heavyrunner. I'm not seeing foul play here. I'm seeing a lot of cups. That makes me think a lot of partying. And that was, I did a really quick reading on her before, and that was the reading I got before. A lot of partying and a man kind of at the center of it, which we know that was going on. So I don't think it was foul play. That card by no means is a foul play card. Let's see if she left on her own. That can happen. Sometimes people do decide they're leaving on their own. I think in this case it'd be really weird because she was very close with her family. I just don't see that happening. I don't know that she would have the means to leave on her own. That is the Knight of Swords. That's somebody rushing in to do things. So I don't necessarily think she left on her own. I think she rushed in to do some things, maybe without thinking, is what I'm getting. And we have this whole party type element. Knight of Swords doesn't stop and think. It acts. He acts. And I think that's how she was that night. I don't think she stopped and thought. She just did stuff, maybe too much is my impression with her. Let's see if this was a suicide. I really don't think it was. I don't get that vibe from her. Suicide. Nobody, as far as I know, has been talking about this, but I haven't read a lot about her. No, I'm not seeing suicide in either of these cards. What I'm seeing is like somebody giving, maybe. Again, we've got that element of perhaps too much putting in the cup. Remember, we had that guy over here with all these cups, way too many. I feel like too much was given to her. And then she was made to disappear. This is my Magician card. That's the impression I'm getting from this. I don't think it was a suicide at all. Accident? Definitely not a suicide. Was this an accident? Again, someone giving things to her, right? We just have that element again and again and again. Here you actually can see one person giving things to another. And we've got the cup element again, which cups can stand for literally drinking, but in the cards often can stand for a drug or, taking in too much, right? With a cup, you're taking something in. Just everything is pointing me to doing too many drugs. Very much possible of an OD situation here. We will ask for natural causes. Natural causes. She's young. very unlikely that she could have died from natural causes, but we all know it does happen every once in a while. This is the wheel spinning closer to the truth is what I feel, and my next card is the overdose. So let me ask you, was this an overdose? All these cards are pointing me in that direction. I'm going to be honest with you. Every last one of them. Is this an overdose? We'll take both of these. So there's the queen, very fixated. And what is she fixated on? A cup. And what did we just talk about? Cup being potentially her fix, her drugs, the things she needs, the things that were given to her. And who gave them to her? Mr. Emperor, the older man. Here we have him there. So I'm really focusing on drug overdose. Very needed a fix and did too many. Was given too many. But at the end of the day, as much as people don't want to hear this, it was her choice to do drugs and to do that many. I don't think anybody like forced her to. In fact, if anything, I think she wanted to. I think she was very much an active participant in this party, needing and taking, I'll put it this way, accepting what was given to her. Very much so. And I know people don't want to hear that, but that is what I'm seeing in the cards. All right, we're going to move on to the Sam McDonald person because people implicate him or Paul in her passing as the one who gave her drugs. Look, they probably both gave her drugs. That's why she was hanging out with these older men. But that night, if somebody wants to point fingers, honestly, I see a sad situation of people were partying together. They did excess, and one did too much and is no longer alive. That's what I'm seeing. But let's see Sam and his direct involvement in her death. Sam, his direct involvement in Ashley's death. Sam McDonald. And that is somebody's like nightmares coming true. So, and it's a woman. Do you think he probably was the one who gave her too many drugs, which we saw earlier? Let's ask about Paul. Paul being involved in Ashley's death. Just because Sam gave her the drugs doesn't mean she still didn't meet up with Paul and do even more. I mean, so we don't know, but let's talk about Paul's involvement. It's this one right here. That is something going up, escalating. I don't know if that is the situation. Paul may have also been not involved in working. So let me ask for clarity on Paul, just because, well, it looks like Sam McDonald was involved. Not 100% sure Paul was. Let's ask about Paul again being involved in Ashley's passing. Paul, what they call V-Dog or something, really weird name. Yeah, V-Dog. So I think Paul was somebody that was having relations with Ashley. That's what I see here. I don't necessarily see that he was directly involved in her passing. I don't feel like he wanted to kill her in any way. I think he was in a relationship with her. Looks more like her heavy partying happened with Sam McDonald. Now, some people are saying this weird stuff about T because she seems to be like really protecting Paul. T is Paul's wife, ex-wife, maybe ex-wife now. She also was in a relationship with Paul at the time he was seeing Ashley. Let's put it that way. T's involvement in this situation. Let's ask for T's involvement in this situation. She is T's involvement in the situation of Ashley. So this is somebody being in charge, and I think T took charge of the situation. I think she tried to be protective. That's somebody like trying to protect themselves. I think she was trying to protect Paul. So she took the reins on that, on trying to protect him, is what I see. Moving, I mean, this is a moving, Chariot is a moving card as well, meaning sometimes the Chariot can denote body's one place and then it's moved. I don't know if that's the situation. Let's ask a little bit more about T's involvement with Ashley. Because just because Sam McDonald gave her the drugs doesn't mean that she didn't accidentally or pass, not really accidentally, but pass when she was with Paul. So tell me a little bit more about T's involvement. Really didn't look like Paul had involvement other than she was his lover. This is somebody passing, but this is also somebody blindfolded and kind of not knowing all the facts. So while it looks like she does know of the passing, it looks also to me like she doesn't know all the facts. I am going to ask a little bit more because I do see this kind of protecting her own type thing. Protecting her own, not knowing all the facts. Let me ask, is she just trying to protect Paul? Because that's kind of where I'm going with this. T, was she just trying to protect Paul in this? Some people think she's the one who did something to Ashley. Was T trying to protect Paul in all this? There's bad decisions in this card, right? There's bad decisions, not knowing exactly you're going to get, what's in the cup. That too we saw with Ashley's behavior. She kept accepting the cup and not knowing, was there the snake inside of it? You know, like you see here. But what was in that cup and was it going to harm you? So I do think Tia's trying to cover up the situation as well on her end, maybe without knowing all the facts and who exactly was involved and wasn't involved. It is possible that Ashley did pass with Paul. And I only say that, not at his hands. I'm not getting that. And I only say that just because it looks like Ashley has some involvement in trying to like cover this whole thing up and wanting it to look a certain way. She may not know anything and still is worried that it's going to make him look bad. He may have had no involvement at all, but she's actively trying to make sure it doesn't look like he had involvement. That's what I'm seeing. But when I asked directly if he did have involvement, it just looked like he was hooking up with this girl, to be honest with you. He probably was supplying her, just like the other guy was, which is why she was with these older men. But Ashley very much seems to want to protect her husband in this situation, or ex-husband in this situation. I mean, did I say Ashley? T wants to protect her husband, her now ex-husband. Let's just ask bluntly, did Ashley pass with, we're going to pick a card for Sam, we're going to pick a card for Paul. Did Ashley pass with Sam? Because they say there's usually in every lie there's an element of truth, and the thought of Sam saying he was asleep and when he woke up she wasn't there, could that really have been they fell asleep and when he woke up she wasn't alive? All right, tell us about Ashley passing with Sam. And that's a lost card, and that does make me feel like she probably did. I think this whole thing with T is she's trying to cover up her husband, ex-husband, whatever he is to her now. Tell me about, did she pass with Paul? I didn't see that earlier. We'll see what the cards tell me now. It looks more definitely like over with Sam. Did Ashley pass with Paul? This is great anxiety, a worry with the woman. So while I don't know that necessarily she did, my question would be, did Paul and did V Dog and Sam know each other? Could they have all met up and been partying together? If not, there is the moon and there's great anxiety on Paul's part. And there's the girl, the Queen of Wands. I feel like that is T actively trying to kind of make this situation go away. I mean, Paul or Sam? Paul. Neither of them are good cards. Neither of them are good cards, but the loss makes me think it was more Sam, and the moon makes me think it's more, because the moon is a card of worry, anxiety, things not always being what they seem, the reflection showing your true self, things like that, not wanting to look at that. I think Paul is really, really, really worried about him being implicated in this. But ultimately, I think the person who had more involvement in what happened to Ashley was Sam. And it looks like this T is trying to cover things up. Let me just ask a card for T involvement, because I know there's theories out there that she went and did something to Ashley. So T's involvement in all this. Let's just ask. We asked for Paul, we asked for Sam. We'll ask about T. Tell me about T's involvement in all of this. Well, that is the Tower, and the Tower is never a good card. The Tower is a card of calamity. Definitely is. We'll ask for a little bit more on that. A little bit more on this Tower of T's involvement. Tell us a little bit more about that. Tell us a little bit more about T's involvement. Well, this is my yes card. And the Hierophant is two people looking up to somebody else. Going to that, the Hierophant is like somebody people look up to for help. Again, my question is, could Sam and V-Dog have known each other, been partying, and then kind of looked to this T person for help when things didn't go well with Ashley? I just throw that out there. I do definitely see an element of Ashley being involved in her own passing. Let me just ask a card flat out on that. We did have that Chariot tied to T about potentially moving. Sometimes that means moving a body. I don't know. I hate to even say it. Tell me about Ashley being involved in her own passing, because that sure is what it looked like to me. Ashley being involved in her own passing. Well, that's some sneaky stuff going on. Some very sneaky stuff going on. And it's swords. This person's, well, I mean, we could put it this way. This person's taking too many swords and trying to, like, get away with it. And we were talking about, taking too much. I Ashley was getting away with some things, I will just say. She was sleeping with somebody else's husband. Um, hmm. There definitely is an element of partying too much, doing way too many drugs with Sam. There's an element of being Paul's lover. There's an element of T wanting to protect her own and wanting to make things go away. The cards did tell me, yes, she was involved. I just have to throw that out there because that's what the cards are saying. I don't like to really implicate people. Looks like multiple people are involved in this. It looks like Ashley's involved in it. Sam's involved in it. Weirdly, I don't feel Paul is as involved as T is involved. Closest known landmark to where this girl can be found. Closest known landmark. Closest known landmark to where Ashley can be found. This horse, the death card came last time when I asked. This is my second reading on her, actually. The first one I didn't like because it implicated T, I'll be honest. And I said that's not right to do that because I don't like putting things out that implicate people. So I read again. We've got Sam very much involved and T to some degree involved. So this is the closest known landmark. I don't know if there's some that starts with death there. There's a horse there. There's a flag there. There's, you know, these are things that are telling me a landmark, and this is probably going into where you live, which may very well be the reservation. I don't know if that's where she lived. I don't know if that's where all these people lived, but I will just say this is like familiar. Um, Yeah, to me it feels like going through a gate, honestly, into to homeland, into your homeland. I do think she will be found. Tell me about this girl being found. Tell me about this girl being found. I think she will be. This is the Queen of Pentacles. And that's, you know, really, really looking. Sometimes a pentacle can be a body. And I feel like this probably is standing for that. I also feel pentacles can stand for where are the drugs, which I think this guy is. So where do we know she was getting drugs from? I think she can be found around there. I think she will be found around there on that land. Yeah, I don't know if these people lived on the reservation, but there's something about this land of, I believe, where people maybe were doing the drugs. Homeland, I keep getting homeland. I'll just ask for advice to searchers. One more card. Advice to searchers. Advice to searchers. So this is for whatever reason right away. Don't give up is what came to me. I know that's a weird meaning for this card, but that was what it was. Like this guy's kind of given up, doesn't want it anymore. I feel like strongly don't give up. I know that's simple advice, right? It's the advice you would expect, but person's also being offered a cup. We had a lot of people being offered cups before. I think there's definitely something about the people who supply drugs. Very much so. I just ask for a little clarification on that. Advice to searchers. Advice to searchers. I feel like she's passed. Strangely, that almost makes me feel like she's buried. I don't know if that's true. And this look on that land around that area. I don't know if this is reservation land. I'm not sure where she was, but it feels very, feels close to, let's just ask if it's close to McDonald or if it's close to Paul. T? Did Paul and T live together at that time? Is it close to McDonald's place? Is Ashley close to McDonald's place? Her place she was, I want to say, buried. Is Ashley close to McDonald's place? This is somebody, again, I feel like giving to others. In this situation, I don't think it's good because I think they were giving drugs to others. But I do feel like it's by the drug dealers. Where did he take her that day? Remember he said he traveled with her? This is traveling. Where did he go that day? McDonald. So what I've got is he gave her stuff and then he traveled with her somewhere. So I don't know if it's like right next door. Tell me about Paul's place. Paul's place. Is Ashley somewhere around Paul's place? Kind of between the two. Between Sam's and Paul's. I don't know if T lived at Paul at the time, so I'm just going to ask, is it around T's place? I think she was living with Paul. Is it around T's place? Well, that is a victory card, so that makes me think yes. I'd have to do a locating video to do better on the location, but this is weird. Just very weird. It's weird. This could be the marriage type thing with the death around the married people's house. Which may be Paul and her final resting spot may be more around Paul and T's house. Or T's house. I'm not sure if they were living together at that time. Anyway, that's what I got. This is a complicated situation where there's multiple people that were involved in, well, one person involved in doing way too many drugs, other people involved in like not wanting to be implicated in giving her drugs that led to her passing, and then one other person, T, possibly even having something to do with moving the body, trying to protect her own, which is weird. All right, that's that. Strange.